What is going on, everybody? It is Jamil with MILMID Studios. Thank you so much for tuning in to another video. Today I have a short but special video for you guys because I picked up a new camera to me, but not necessarily a new camera. This is the camera that I picked up. It's a Sony A6400, and this is the lens that I picked up today. The camera body actually belongs to my sister. The lens, which is a 50mm f1.8 with circular aperture, which means that the bokeh in theory should be nice and circular, not the polygonal sort of shapes that you get in those cheaper lower end cameras with the less amount of aperture blades. So in theory, we should get some beautiful bokeh, and I hope to test that out in this video. We are going to take some sample photos so you can see what this combination does and what it can do for you. The body itself, the Sony A6400, is a 24.2 megapixel APS-C camera. It is really nice to hold. It's a nice profile. I mean, it doesn't compare to Canon, I'll say that right now. Sony is so clinical and sharp, their images included. It's almost like you're holding like a razor blade with this thing, where Canon, you got those nice curves, smooth and just succulent. Anyway, this is a really nice user-friendly camera. I actually just played around with it for a little bit. The controls, it's hard for me to kind of change cameras, but that's why I like to do it. So it gets me kind of familiar with different camera systems. The Sony, for example. The only other Sony camera that I've had on this channel was like an Alpha 250. I can't remember. It was a Sony Alpha 350 DSLR camera. That's the only other Sony camera that I've ever had on this channel. So I'm excited to have this Sony A6400. I've heard great things about this camera on a whole. There are videos talking about, like, should you buy this camera in 2023? And many people speak favorably about this camera. Some of the cool features about it, it's kind of like a vlogging camera, but some of the cool features is this screen. It comes up just like that. So you can actually hold this out. You can see yourself. Obviously, with this lens being so tight, a 50mm, like I said, on a full frame, that's equivalent to a 75mm lens. So kind of holding this out, all you're seeing is forehead at that point. So, you know, if you have the kit lens or a wide lens, then it makes a perfect vlogging camera. And this thing shoots 4K 30, I believe. So it's a respectable camera with respectable stats. And I do want to do some comparison videos with some of the cameras that I own, like the Leica Q2, the Canon R3 with the 50mm, or even the 85, since it'll be closer to this guy. And obviously, I would love to take this guy out for some street photography. Now, before we get into that, guys, the stainless, it does stick out, okay? I like to stick out. It's not always good when you're doing street photography. Like if I wanted a dedicated street photography camera and that was my genre, then I would get like a small camera, like the Leica Q2, for example. It's very like non-invasive, it's very quiet, it's very subtle. There's no red circle on there, it's just blacked out, and a nice small profile. Actually, I have it right here. A nice small profile. So this is a great street photography camera. I would like to go do some street portraits with this to show you guys. And I actually have a big trip, like probably the biggest trip of my life, coming up in March of 2024. I'll be heading somewhere very special, soon to be revealed, with a good friend of mine, Alex. We're going to do some photography, we're going to capture content, and I can't wait to share it with you guys. But just hang tight because we're getting the details together, but it's going to be a great trip for photography. Okay, so let's get into some sample images out of this guy. Let me know what you guys think. These are going to be raw images, lightly touched up in Lightroom, but obviously I'm not going to do too much. I just want to give you an idea of what this combination can get you in terms of images. Let's check some of the photos out now. So in those images, I actually took some Leica Q2 images just so you can see how the bokeh on that thing compares. Obviously, they're two completely different focal lengths. The Leica has the Summilux 28mm f1.7, whereas this guy, like we said, it's a 50mm but equivalent to a 75mm. So completely different, but it's just interesting to see the bokeh characteristics. And if you're wondering how I got bokeh, I didn't know where my specular lights were, so I used these guys. 2 cell phones with the flashlights. It actually worked pretty well for the test. But hopefully that kind of gave you an idea of what to expect. I even did some self-portraits, if I can. I'm not even going to call them self-portraits. Those are selfies. With my hand out, looking like a fool. Again, it was super tight, but hopefully you can kind of see the quality. I'm really excited to get out into the field and do some testing with street photography, street portraits, that sort of thing, and I'm looking forward to do that. So if you guys want to see what this bad guy could do for street photography, stranger portraits, all that kind of stuff, be sure to hit that subscribe button. Thank you so much to all of you who have subscribed. We hit 2K recently, and we're on our way to 3K. But most importantly, guys, remember this. The best gear is the gear you have, and the best photos are the ones you take. Don't forget to keep on shooting.